Hi. I am not prepared for today. I am not prepared. I got sick last week. It was not COVID. Um, all the tests came back negative, which is good, but I was so sick. It was just not good. Up and down, it was really horrible. So I am behind on everything, of course. It was tough last week. And then with the holiday, just those things. So I'm not even prepared because why would I be prepared? That's silly. Look at you see the paint. I mean, it's not in the holes, but I still see it. It's on the black part. I don't know. I should try to clean that off. I could, I think. We'll have to see. So I'm trying to remember where I was at. So let me get this. That one. Here. Let's see. I remember where exactly I was with everything. I think we were talking about magic. Were we finally talking about magic? I think we were. Oh, I have a magic folder here, but no articles. Let's go see where we were at with the articles here. I just realized I called it magic. That article called magic, the dreaming. I should change that. Okay, but it's a work in progress. So let's see where we were at with that. The dream and everything. And let's get a preview going. Sometimes it's easier to see it how. What? Okay, so here we go. We were talking about the first part of Dreamfire there. Okay, I know. I remember this. I remember where we were at and what we were doing and why, kinda. So we talked about the color, the three abilities that a base makes a basic, or the majority of basic dreamers. What's considered like a tier 1 dreamer. Like I said, anybody who can sense the dream of any way, except dream messages, and they're all considered dreamers. They're considered less so if they can't actually use the dream, can't send messages, what have you. And certain countries like Ventaris, that's more of a huge deal than others. So dream messaging. So dream message, very basic, is that a person can hear a dream message. Most people can at least hear a dream message. There's actually very, very few people, and I talked about this about the letters. Very, very few people who can't in this world. Can I make this bigger? I can. Nice. But then after that, there are people who can send messages back and forth. After that, there's people who can listen in on messages. There's people who can, and it's kind of like a telepathy. There's different lengths. Some people can send messages, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miles. Some those are fewer and far between than those that can send, oh, maybe just a little bit, or maybe only 100 miles. So there's different abilities there. The people who can listen in, sometimes they have to still be in very close proximity. There's very few people who can listen in from very far away or even from a few rooms. That ability is definitely coveted for spycraft. And then, kind of at the top of the chain, there is someone who can follow a dream message back, either that they've received or may have listened into, follow it back and find exactly and know where the person is who sent it. So be able to locate them, basically. Again, that's very top. Very few people could do that. And then we talked about Dreamfire. So people who could manifest Dreamfire, again, kind of the higher end of the more normal abilities. The very first level is someone who can make a glow. Glow doesn't burn people, doesn't set things on fire. It can just be squished out of existence. Kids will play with them. They're used to light hallways, decoration. They last a couple days, usually, on their own, and then just blink out. Then after that, it's people who can basically make a fire burn. The next one is those who require a focus of some kind, meaning that they can make the fire burn around a thing. And they're not really sure what dictates that. It usually has, when they're testing out abilities and trying to get people to make the dream burn. And I should change that. Magic the dreaming. Psst. Magic. Okay. I think I didn't mean it that way. I like the card game, but it sounds too much like it, so I'm getting rid of it. So these people, they'll test different materials. Some can only do it in wood. Suriel have to be able to do it in their bronze swords that they use. When it's attached to a weapon, usually it's attached to a weapon, people aren't usually going to attach it to anything else. And generally what they're trained to focus it on, I guess you could train someone to focus it on a house. But that'd be really difficult because they tend to, when they have that focus and that ability, whether it's on metal or wood or stone, it has to be that thing or that type of thing. So someone who can do it on wood, is trained to do it on a staff, it won't burn the object it's on, which is why it's never done that, but it does burn the person the weapon's used against. And so that tends to be how that evolution is used, where foot soldiers can't, will be fighting with more close weapons. Now there are guns. There are not projectile guns, blaster type weapons. In fact, they call them blasters. That's what's being used. The second level of Dreamfire, which again, this is the top tier, are people who can just manifest Dreamfire and blast it. Ranges again, and how far it goes and what shape, that kind of thing is different from person to person, but it's fire at that point. If they blast it at you, it's going to burn, it's going to be hot. These people may also be able to manipulate Dreamfire once it is burning, or other people's Dreamfire. Again, very top level. Let's see here, what else? They're pretty coveted for armies, especially, so that's usually where you're going to see those dreamers. And it's not like something you move through like levels or anything. Either you can use a focus or you cannot use a focus. Either you can call the Dreamfire or you can't call the Dreamfire. Like, you can't, like someone who can call Dreamfire and blast it, if they tried to focus it on something, it's going to burn that thing because they're blasting it out. Someone who can call it focus, that's it. They can call it on that focus, and that's it. It's not something they can switch back and forth between. So then we get to tier 2 dreaming, which is where we were at last time. So I'm gonna start formatting that while I'm talking. Tier 2 dreaming. Let's see here. Just looking at stuff. Tier 2 dreaming is kind of that high tier dreamer. Like when I was talking before that those other ones were considered high tier, they absolutely are considered high tier. So these ones are really close to unheard of. And they definitely do exist. The Bentaurus royal family. It's full of them. It's one of the reasons why they're the royal family. But it's also not a cut and dry either. So, like I said, like a high-end tier 1 dreamer might have a tier 2 ability and therefore be considered a tier 2 dreamer. So, somebody who can call Dreamfire may be able to also do shielding with Dreamfire. And if they can do that, that doesn't mean that they can do everything else. So, following, which is what I talked about before, where they could follow that dream back and find that person or find a person they dream to. That's considered a tier 2 ability. And then one that's very, 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 very... It's not only rare, but it's also considered rude. Like, super rude. If someone is identified as a mind reader and it's been found that they've been reading minds, they're going to be punished. I'm sorry, there's something on my camera and I'm going to get it. Oops. And I spent all that time getting the camera fixed. It's kind of weird with this monitor mount that I have on the back of this. Okay. I can do this. And it doesn't twist. I wish it twisted on this thing. That's good. You can see me. Nobody wants to see me. It's fine. But so it's considered rude. Someone's going to be punished for it if they're found out. But it's still considered part of the dreaming. And this is important when it comes to Bentaurus again, because this is the limit. Right here, this is the limit. This is as high as they deem that the powers can go. Anything beyond this is going to be considered a nightmare, which we'll get to. So let's see here. Bold these to put this in a paragraph. So when they have their lawful definitions of what a dreamer is and is not, these are considered that. So let's see. And is listening in mind reading? No, because the dream has to be being used to be listening in. So that's kind of important in dream messages. Let's see. So what are the consequences of this magic system? Right? If you had to have consequences, well, it depends on your story. It takes effort. So Assume a person is just blasting Dreamfire away at a steady stream for hours on end. They're going to collapse. They're going to be exhausted. It's not a huge consequence. You definitely can. Let's see. Some dreamers kind of have the sense like there's the missing dream, like they've used up the dream power within a person, and so that they'll be weak, they'll be sleepy. Super overextended. There has been record of dreamers going to a coma. Most dreamers are not going to make it that far and still be able to manifest the dream. It's kind of like how far they're not. The dream is used up, and it's kind of like a reservoir within each person and around them, and they can't draw, and they don't draw it from the environment, they draw it from their own life force. So it's not going to kill them. It's not like it's deleting their life force slowly on, well, except for the case of a very specific dreamer, but I think we'll get to those. I think we talked about the blue robes before in the religion section. That dreamer, they are actually sucking away life force. But again, very specific dreamer. And that's not generally true. So that takes us to other magic, which I think I might put in a separate thing now that I'm thinking about it. Let me hit save. We already have this. We have magic. Create a new note titled Other Magic. This one's going to be called the Dream. Okay. So, and I just realized I put that in B instead of P. So let me fix that. All right. Should also be in the paragraph. So other magic. Let's put this in a different article. Yeah, because then we have magic items, and that's a whole different thing. So I'm gonna copy that out. Save changes. We'll go ahead and make it published. Oh. Encyclopedia, magic, dreaming. Oh. See a typo. There it is. I still need to fix the color of these titles so they're easier to see. Did it not? There we go. Okay, yeah. So let's create a new article. The magic section. This one, other magic. These sections and TC. All right. So other magic. So, like most cultures where dreamers are promoted shun of their magic, Ventaris outlaws all other types of magic. The Obsidian many-colored goddess cult trains dreamers to use their power differently. Other countries depend on and use other magic users. Rarity depends on the location and the type of magic. So, let's talk about nightmares. If you have dreamers, you have nightmares. So a nightmare is a title that's given to any non-dreamer with magical abilities. This is not entirely correct. To the culture, nightmares can be very specific. Nightmares are usually unique, have magical abilities that no one else has, but they also may be able to use the dream. Many masquerade as gods, others go into hiding, or may just hide their abilities. The term originates in Ventaris, who was the first, really only country that outlaws them outright. And so a nightmare is going to be put to death as quickly as possible before they can cause any kind of damage or do anything, as soon as they're found out. So we go to Ventaris. They're sentenced to death. Himalayas has employed high directors in the past to reduce magical objects or perform certain duties. Himalayas does not consider them nightmares. Himalayan legend of the shattered goddess. This would be about a nightmare, which it is. So, artificers. People who create magic items. You gotta have magic items, right? I mean, you don't have to, but I do. Having mouse problems because I'm hitting this cable. Okay. So artificers. So that sentence doesn't make sense. These magic users can exchange to. That's supposed to be enchant. That's got to be an autocorrect. Enchant objects to perform certain tasks. These usually have a tier 2 dreaming. They usually. Wow. The tier 2 dream building as well. It's suspected that Residia has many artificers. They do. But there are no artificers at this time. So Residia, being as big as it is, tends to be very secretive about their culture. It's not that they just don't tell everybody, since there's not really TV or like radio or things like that. That's just not the way technology has gone currently. At least not in a usual sense. Residia is probably the most technically advanced empire, country, region out there. They just don't advertise what they are. So when people get there, they're usually shocked. They may bring it back. People will know. People, a lot of their technology has influence to their cultures, but they keep most of it for themselves and within their borders. So, let's see. The magic isn't reliable. Artificers may last indefinitely, but artifacts, not artificers. Artifacts may last indefinitely. There are some that do. But one artificer may not be able to recognize or not be able to reproduce what another artificer has done. For example, Forlorn has these magic walls where if you knock on the wall, a hand will come out, and it will take whatever you put in the hand and bring it to the place that so they have a very large eating hall. Food is pushed there and it's brought to the kitchens. And it has a few other walls that do various things here and there, bring things to different places. It makes the castle run. It was built with the castle. That was more than 200 years ago. And the artificer who did it died. Nobody could reproduce it anywhere else. Like, he didn't. He built it into that castle, and that was it. One of the myths around Thinstone is that deposits around the world, since this is a mine stone, were enchanted by a traveling artificer. I mean, they don't have any proof. There's no written record of that. Nobody's able to, when they shave the Thinstone down, draw out a story that tells them that from it. So, but it's just a legend. So, I think it's a fun one. Let's see here. Spinners. So spinners are people who spin magical threads. They have to use certain substances that do different things. The thread will connect themselves to other people and draw them to and away from danger. So basically, a spinner will spin a thread, kind of like Spider-Man throwing a web. Connects it, but it finds its way. It finds its way to the person, almost like this path, this glowing path. When it's thrown out, the thread can be broken, the thread can be pulled apart. The strength depends on the strength of the spinner. Lots of other things. They don't have to pull on it; it just happens depending on what they chose to do. The Spinners Guild is part of the necropolis. So spinners are just in the necropolis. The thread that they spin, charm witches like to use in their charms as well. So that basically also what keeps the spinners from dying out, because there's a demand from the charm witches who run the necropolis. So charm witches. So here's one of the places I need to go through the story I wrote with a charm witch and write down like all the charms, because I had this kind of like litany section, which apparently nobody liked. So if I want to do anything with that story, it's got to come out about the charms, and so, but I do want to put those in there because they're deadly. So they craft basically charms prescribed by magical formulas. They have various effects. They're kind of like artificers in this, except that they don't do things on a very large scale. All the charms are little, like they're charms. And they're attached to your person, and they do about them. Charm witches usually have them all over their person, and it becomes a whole thing. So I'm going to have to do a section on charms once I get that up. See, I had the page linked ready. And again, Charm Guild is part of the Necropolis, and I should put in here Charm Witches. Charm Witches. And the govern. Necropolis. So, Dust Eaters. They've appeared in the magical monster section, but it's worth noting them here because they are magical users. So again, there's debate on whether they're considered a beast or a magic user. They are born from humans. They have a moth-like face that splits apart. It's basically the same. They only appear on the Isle of Frost, where the vortex brings the monsters forth. And their face is bound so that their magic can't be used without but they tend to be dumb. You know, they don't speak. They seem to hear and take direction. They seem to learn, but don't read. They don't really communicate. They just, if you face them towards something and their face is unbound, it will open up and suck those people into oblivion. Or that thing. So the Manali we talked about a bit in the religion section. She's born through immaculate conception, usually to a young woman of just age. Smoke gets worse when Manali is born because the Fire King is expecting her. She's raised on a strange diet without any other education, and then sent to the Fire King at the age of 16. At the time period that the world is in at this point in time, there have been 87 Manalis. And it has been over 100 years since the last Manali, and many have begun to not believe in the temple teachings. That's kind of the section that I imagine. I definitely need to flesh out a couple things here, but that's pretty much it. So, magic items. I want to put that in a separate thing as well. Save changes. Article, so we'll take a look. Oh, I forgot. Did I put the wrong thing around them? Oh, I did. There we go, chatting away, not doing the right thing. It's okay, easy fix. Just did the wrong thing again. Fix that here. Alright, save changes. Did I do the wrong thing? No, it's not. Oh, there's no key here though. Okay, I'll have to come back and see what's going on with this one. Alright, new article. Check. Move these around. Article. Magic items. So I've really just been keeping track of the items that I actually make. I'm sure there's the magic items in there, but these are basically the ones that are important to the story. Let's fix this. Tech. Magic and technology are intertwined in empire over their items, which are considered magic. So, fuel crystals, which are a magical crystal that power much of the devices, the ships, the vehicles, and things in Aidmaharia, use magical technology. But a magic item is just inherently. So, a fuel crystal is a magic item. A blaster with a fuel crystal in it that allows people to shoot is just a piece of technology that uses magic. That makes sense. Enchantment is a rare ability, but the items that have been enchanted can only be undone by the enchanter, so they tend to endure. Yeah. So again, that artificer, things don't go away unless they're destroyed on purpose. So, which That's part of what some of the schools on Elfenfrost are dedicated to studying. So much weirdness happens on the Aerofloss. There's a lot, which is why they have a college there. But nobody knows why they last after an enchanter dies, or why another enchanter can't do anything with it. So it's one of the weird rules. So the first one, of course, is Thin Stone, which we talked about quite a bit. Nature section. The Callous Sword. So the Callous Sword is a specifically made sword used by, it's a bronzed metal sword, not a bronze sword, but a bronzed metal that is used as a focus for the Surreal warriors. It's not magic in itself, but it has a lot of legends around it because, of course, they're using it as a focus. Dreamfire comes out. It's a whole thing. And yeah. The Knife of the Under is a small knife that the Surreal use. Again, same thing. It's basically presented to them when they're initiated into the cult or sect. Let's get some paragraph tags around this. Title there. I mean, it's just a little work eating, a knife, a utility knife, basically, except it's not a utility, it's just a single blade. I always think in my mind kind of like a paring knife, because like a paring knife is just like the ultimate. You can eat with it, you can slice things apart with it, and you can do a lot of damage to you and other people with them. So I always kind of think of it that way, but that's not exactly what it is either. Warming items. So a warming item is something that can warm when, like say for example, I think one of the things that happens in one of my books is that Can takes a fork and warms it when a certain person is near, and that turns out to be she doesn't really think it through, so it gets too hot. So, there need to be some limitations by the enchanter. They're pretty common items. It's not uncommon for them to show up in a round to do different things. They tend to be very simple. They're also not very practical. Things that warm when somebody's near is great if you can feel it, but it doesn't do too much otherwise. So, they're considered more of trinkets, not the most useful things, but they're around, and it's a common enchantment. Finding items. So this is an item that gives them the ability to know where other people are. Let's see. Kind of like using the following, but not so direct. And those are pretty high powered, and that's also kind of like somebody has like kind of like tracker or fighting item on you. That would be bad. Messenger helper walls. I talked about those with the Lord. Attention, but certain walls go to certain places or perform certain actions. Gorek Stone. So the Gorek Stone is a large large red stones to give where immortality. It beds itself into the user's chest. So, and that was originally a part of the first Dreamfire book that I wrote, the first version. But I ended up taking it out. It still exists. But the person that it affected in that story, that got removed from that book. But the story still exists. I actually moved it earlier on the timeline where it made more sense. Cool. So that's where I have for magic items. Let me just see that and make it a thing. Magic items. Go. Oh, I forgot the table of contents. Okay. So let me make sure I have a magic item section. Note. Magic items. Let's just get these. Number 1. Three, and then we'll copy these. Now we have my offline notes that match my online notes. Okay. Let's go see how the other. That's magic in a nutshell. Ooh. It's very hot. And I just realized that my camera went up. And I keep hitting the thing. Let's try that again. Nope. I'm gonna stay? Maybe? Okay. So yeah. So other magic. This one. Let's see. Formatting. It's interesting where the breaks all show up. Okay, and then the dreaming. Let's go back here to magic and the dreaming. And I can say those are done. I mean, it's pretty simple. I do consider this to be more of a soft magic system. Of course, it's not an extremely rule heavy magic system for sure. And that really bugs some people a lot. But it's what I like. I don't think all magic needs to be. Uh-oh. You're having issues. That's not good. Been having some internet issues today, which just slowed a lot of stuff down. But I don't have anyone else using my internet, so I might need to look at my service and see what's happening. Um, Get through all these extra spaces because they bug me. Let's see where I'm at. Like, where am I? Okay. I mean, I don't remember, honestly, if I filled all these out. I think I have. I think we're all caught up on that. Planet. Oh, I do have a couple notes here that I haven't looked at. Right? I have to look at what I got here. I have World Atlas, features of the planet. Yeah, no, I'm missing some stuff. Okay, so let's see here. Technology looked like. Did I have. I did have a calendar. Yeah, I did. There's a calendar. It's in the features of the planet section. Let's see what we got here, because all of these should be set up. I think I got all the religion set up. Now all the regions and everything are set up. Let me just double check. Oh, I didn't break them all out yet, so I still need to do that. The nature of Id Maharia, I think we're all good there. Yeah, nature. Oh, nope, nope, we're not. I need to break out those too. So let me get a list going of what I need to do. I know there's a to-do list that we discovered in here, but I'm trying to use up all of my notepads. I'm doing a pretty good job, but I still have a few to go. So let's see. I need to clean up nature. Oh, this pen is so squirrely. This it's a stylus pen, so you're supposed to be able to use stylus, but you always forget that, I think, or at least I do. Clean up nature, clean up religion. Okay, so those two areas need to be cleaned up. But I know we're good on all of these. So name ships we're almost to, and world. Let's get a technology section going. And I think I need to people. Oh no, I do have this technology too. It looks like I started a technology section here, but haven't pulled it out. Sorry, I'm looking at it. Scope, theme. Yeah, I don't have all this in there yet either. Ta-da! Oh, checklist. Checklist is good because we're just about the point of all the stuff that I have together. So let's see here. Scene looks like it's some people. Come on. Oh, why is my computer just... Hold on a second. I'm going to play off that just so I can check my... I shut everything down. Oh, this is why I stopped streaming Minecraft. So, I mean, I have a ton of tabs open. No reason. Suppose I can close these. Right? That should save some memory, but still, it shouldn't be running this hot and having this trouble. Still having network issues. Okay, so let's see what I need to clean up here. I have... Oh, I forgot about those. So here's the intro, which is on the first page. I need to check intro. And then we need to get to, and then we'll get to characters. So we're very close. We do have some glossary terms. This is just a fun. I need to get rid of this section. This is just how everything looks in typography. Actually, I might keep it in here, but it's not going to go in. Obviously, that's just a markup cheat sheet. Okay. So let's start with this weirdness. I think we do need to get a technology section going regardless. Advisory, yeah. I know. We got like 2 seconds of rain, and now like all the clouds are gone again. It's so exciting. They're like scattered thunderstorms. Nope. Like little thunderstorm, lots of wind, super heat. Not fun. Okay, let's look at. Is this the World Atlas? Deities, religion, nature. Powerful organizations I don't have anything in, and you know what? I want to remove this category. I'm gonna delete it. Keep my back end clean. Keep your stuff clean. Ethnicities and cultures. Don't I have that under CP? Yeah, I do. I have this section here. So we're gonna delete this one. Science and technology. All right, let's add an article here. Technology. There we go. TNC. Okay, so let's clean up some of this. I think name ship should go under technology, huh? Technology. I mean, people. Just got a lot of like little weird note things in here. I do have a world meta thing, but actually I want to move this into this folder here. Okay. So technology, what do we got? This one's empty. We're going to this folder. Stick that here. Yeah, let's see here. World technology. What do we got? Empire is a world of praise magic, but also more advanced than your typical medieval or ancestral fantasy world. Cities may be built of stone if they are older, but newer cities have the same glass steel components that we are used to. While technology is available, not all countries have taken advantage of what is available. This is very true of our own planet. This is one of the weird things I run into sometimes is that people will read my stories and be like, it's a why is there a goat herder that has a car? And you have to stop for a second and like everything. And you're like, have you ever been to a rural place? Like even in the US, like people tend to forget that not everything is exactly the same. Or that you've been to Kenya and seen some of the farmlands there and all these people with satellite phones. You know, but they're living in like tin shacks. Like or like even like compared here, like if I say, well, think about Japan, and they'll be like, oh, it's exactly like here. No, it's not. Things are closer together. Things are easier to walk through. They have these huge train system that we just don't have. It's very different. And I don't think people realize that, and that's kind of a problem not traveling, I think. These are the same people who will like criticize and say like, oh, it's another sci-fi thing with a one ecosystem world. Yeah, I mean, because it's easier. It's definitely difficult to make an entire world, especially when you're hopping from one after another after another. But at the same time, then they're coming back and wondering why everything is not exactly the same. They don't apply that to culture and what different ecosystems, how that changes culture and things like that. So, well, and technology differently when magic is around, because it does, right? Um, has power coming managed science, power vehicle and water coachable is called fuel crystals. Metal artifacts, paper is mostly unneeded, letters are considered insults. Okay, so I think we're good. I'm gonna save this. And I think we're gonna call it there for today. Let's need to move that ship's air and sea section under technology, I think. Because that's kind of where we're at. But we got quite a bit done, and I'm so close to this section, and then we're gonna start getting into characters and getting into story, and none of these had a paragraph tag. Yeah, really quick. Paragraph tag. Paragraph tag. But yeah, I mean, it's very interesting, like just how diverse everything is, and when you're thinking about those things, how things change. Because I think it's really interesting, and like even, even in a detailed world like Lord of the Rings, Middle Earth, extremely detailed. He built a language. He built these different cultures. He did all this thing. They all have the exact same technology level. That has never been true. Technology has varied even in the Middle Ages in our own world. It varies depending on what is needed and why. And people tend to think of it of, oh, well, they all lived in mud huts at this point in time, and then they moved to houses and small villages, and then they moved to castles and cities. No, they didn't. They fluctuated back and forth. The different cultures lived in different ways and had different things and discovered different things. Like, not all technology came from Greece. Not all technology came from Rome. Not all technology came, it was an amalgamation of what they needed and what they had and where they were, and that effect on culture I think is really, really interesting. And I don't think that is considered in a lot of things. So having vastly different resources and technology based on where they're at, sure, there's things that everybody has because they are so pervasive. But even then, we tend not to remember that even the most pervasive thing is still a luxury in some places. Phones, until very recently, like last 20 years, phones were a shared commodity and can be shared from anything on the house level to the village level, to the town level. That wide. That's a huge, difference right there. Even though they were pervasive. So, something to think about. Okay. I'm Tanya Chatting today. Thank you so much if you're watching this later. Hey, if you're watching this on YouTube, please like and subscribe. Please comment. Tell me what you think. Tell me what your thoughts are on technology and culture. And thank you so much for watching.